Lovely afternoon to all of our viewers. This is Open Mic Live on Adwa TV, and I am your girl, Kiki. On today's edition of Open Mic, we are discussing something that a lot of us struggle with, of course. We struggle with this very quietly, and we are looking to understand why people struggle engaging with mental health help services or, organizations that handle mental health. We're wondering how we can differently address emotional pain from physical pain, and also how we can create safe spaces for persons who are shying away from mental health services and institutions. And with me in the studio, I've got two voices that are going to help us navigate through this topic. But before we do that, we want to take a quick turn. When we come back, we'll do the introductions of our guests, and then we get straight into the topic of the day. So hang in for me. We'll be right back.
At Medifem, there is a lot that we do that we make our patients very, very, very comfortable. Right from the entrance, when you enter here, there's not alone that you need. Even if you have your sickness, everything vanishes. I would like to also introduce that we have antenatal class as part of our nursing education. We do about 4 modules. Inside the 4 modules, we have various topics under them. This class also is done every week. There's a link that is shared where we discuss issues about maternal health. We also talk about neonatal jaundice, pregnancy-induced hypertension. It's a whole that we want everyone to come and experience. So kindly make it a point to come and experience Medifem, and you never forget. Remember that once you are not here, we are also not existing.
Welcome back. Thank you for holding the fort for us. You're back live on Adwa TV. And again, this is Open Mic. I'm still your girl, Kiki, and we are going straight into the conversation of mental health stigma. And with me in the studio, like I said earlier, I've got 2 voices. But before we hear from our 2 voices, I want to ask, did you know that Medifem is a multi-specialist hospital and fertility center, a premier Ghanaian-owned private healthcare institution committed to delivering comprehensive, patient-centered medical care across multiple specialties? With over 2 decades of excellence in healthcare delivery, Medifem has built a strong reputation for quality, innovation, and compassionate service. Our team comprises highly of experienced medical professionals that include leading specialists such as Dr. Richard Banfo, Dr. Joseph Homiasari, and Dr. Frank Odame, who collectively bring decades of clinical expertise to both local and international patients. Medifem operates through 3 specialized divisions. 1, the Medifem Hospital, which is the general and specialist care. 2, the Accra Fertility Center, assisted reproductive services. And then the final one is the Medifem Occupational Health and Wellness that handles corporate and preventive health. And our promise is that we cherish you, and we are dedicated to providing personalized, high-quality care with a strong focus on patients' comfort, safety, and outcomes. Our service, we run a 24-hour service delivery, and the services include general practice, urology, internal medicine, ENT, plastic and reconstructive surgery, dental care, eye care, pediatrics, gynecology, IVF/ICSI. We have the IUI, and egg and sperm cryopreservation, egg donation, semen analysis, pre-employment screening, exit medicals, school health services, executive medicals, ergonomic assessments, and oil and gas medicals. We're located at Westlands, Margaret Anderson Avenue, Accra, and you can contact us on 0302 433 963 or 055 411 0224. The Accra Fertility Center, you can also call us on 050-1577-568, and also at the Medifem Occupational Health and Wellness Center, you may call us on 059-4912-130 or visit our website at www.medifemhospital.com. Now that we are done with this, we'd want to quickly run an introduction. Nana Abba Apietiwa, did I get that right?
Yes.
Thank you. And then we also have with us Mr. Samuel Hanu.
Yeah.
I'm right. I forgot one.
Kujo.
Oh, Mr. Samuel Kujo Hanu. I am really grateful that you are in my seat today.
Thank you for having us.
Really grateful that you made time to come talk to us. But let's break a bit of ice. I've got a few questions for us. First and foremost, I've got a green card and a red card. You may want to pick that up for me.
Okay.
And then we'd run this quickly. Oh, where did I save them? Please hanging a bit for me. Let me find where I save this real quick. Oh, okay. You know what? Let's do the trivia quickly. So I did give some questions or some situations, and it's a trivia really. So we want to go through it quickly. Yes. Can you please help me with the very first one?
So I have to read it?
Yes, sir.
So one, pretended to be busy because you did not have the energy to talk to anyone.
Okay.
Yes.
Was that a tick for you?
A tick,
It was a tick for you. Was that a tick for you?
It was for me.
It was for you too. What sorts of situations did you ever find yourself that, elicited these, where were you shying away?
There's been a lot of circumstances. Sometimes you're running around a lot and you really do get tired. Not just physically, but also mentally. And then there will be like some people who would still want to talk, not because maybe they don't know, they just do not know probably the circumstance that you find yourself or the current state of mental health that you find yourself, and they would want to engage. And I'm a person who usually doesn't like to give half energy. If I have to speak to somebody, I want to be all out. If I have to engage, I want to be all out. So when I realized that I'm not in the state of mind to engage, and that if I have to, I would have to give a very low energy, then I wouldn't. So if somebody is coming, sometimes it's either I go on my phone or try to write something.
I
or sometimes when the call comes, I'll just say, "Oh, you know what? I'm busy. Let me call you.
I'll call you back."
I'm not busy.
But you know that's the culture lately. When people say, "Oh, I'll call you back,"
and they
really don't.
But we are working on that.
Right. And for you, sir.
Yeah. So sometimes our work involves a lot of stress, and stress sometimes can lead to burnout.
Right.
And when you have burnout, one of the key symptoms is we don't have energy. So when you're at that state, and sometimes a call comes in, so this call will take a lot of your energy. You're not willing for that. You either ignore it, for now, momentarily, you're going for some time. Then later, probably call the person that, "Oh, I was in a meeting, I was doing something, so I'll get back to you."
Right. But is that not as lying to them?
Well, but it's self-love.
Well, there are points when you need to be selfish.
Yeah. It's better than you at that point giving in and you suffering the emotional consequences.
Right.
Sometimes some people want to just rub off you and go off. So you better preserve it so that you can serve them better and other people better later
Right.
than for you to sacrifice that time when you are not really in the mood.
Is there any in the list that was intriguing for you? Or do you want to react to any of the...
I would take when I've heard "be strong" so many times that you stop talking about how you really feel.
Yeah.
And this, like, when I was going through this, I felt like you guys just wrote out my life on a sheet of paper. But there have been so many times when you decide to speak to somebody, you know, because we are usually the ones giving out help. Everybody thinks that you do not have a lot of things going on yourself. And there are times when you decide to seek the help, especially from friends and family. Most of the feedback you get is that, oh, you're a very strong girl. You are one of the strongest
People like you.
And inside me, I'm like, I'm not strong. I'm breaking. Like, can you just hear me out? And because of that, there has been this thing that my brain has built up against the word strong, or that statement of being strong, because then it feels like I'm not strong, but I have to pretend that I am, just because people think that you have everything sorted out because you're helping other people. So then it gets to times when you really want to speak up, but I just think about it, I'm like, oh, this person, the person will say, oh, you're one of the strongest girls I know.
So you just won't reach out.
And then I look for some self-help means that usually when I do, it helps me calm down. I rejuvenate, and then I go back to what I need to do.
So for you, you do self-help in the absence of, you know,
yes.
engaging with people for the fact that they think you're strong. And you also have a certain, do I say, reaction towards the word strong, being strong?
Yes.
Right. I'll come back to that. I need to collect a few things because you mentioned certain important points. But I want to understand for you, sir, is there any highlights in the list that we have?
Of course.
Because as much, yes.
We you know, the typical Ghanaian, when you ask a typical Ghanaian, how are you? They will say, yeah, fine.
I'm fine. I think that's what we've been taught to say.
And in fact, the person is even on a sick bed, but he still asks, how are you? Say, I'm fine. I think we need to go beyond that and probably ask, are you really fine? Because it's our culture. We've been socialized that can't be and you're fine. So like always speak good things to yourself. It's good, but at times you are struggling. And for instance, for someone like me who is in the helping profession, you help other people. Who takes care of you yourself, because you use all your energy to take care of other people's emotional well-being, and you yourself become drained, and you don't even have the support system. So who takes care of the carer?
Who takes care of the carer?
Exactly, you know. So some people think that it's all well and good for you, it's all rosy, but they don't know that we also are human beings. We also have emotions, and sometimes you're also down. You know, so that's what relates with me. I mean, when I go through, I realize that yes, sometimes our Ghanaian society, every time somebody is sick, crying deep, but when you ask, as soon as you get in, he will clean the face
quickly.
But the person's quiet.
Yeah.
When you leave the person will cry. You know, so we need to create the safe space where people can share. Because they know that when they share, the space is free and they are safe, and their issues will not be out there being broadcasted by people. You know.
So I think, well, from what you've said, then I gather that the fear for a lot of people is the fact that later they're going to hear their issues out there. There's a lot I want to ask, but let's take this from the top. Let's understand first and foremost what mental health stigma is for the sake of our viewers. What will we term mental health stigma? Nanaba.
Okay. So let me take that from what mental health is, and then we'll come to the stigma.
Right.
You know, usually when people talk of mental health or people hear mental health, they are thinking like people on the street or people in the psychiatric hospitals. Mental health in itself is not like people who are on the streets, like a lot of people think, but we are thinking, or we are talking about how people feel, how people act, and how that translates to their day-to-day activities and how they do well in the societies that they find themselves. So you being here, one of the good journalists that I know, the activities that you are doing, being able to come from your house, being able to come here, engaging with us, that is all parts of the wholesomeness of mental health that we're talking about. So then when it comes to the stigma, as I said, that usually when we even say mental health in general, then people are thinking that, oh, now we are talking about people whose clothes are off, people who are on the streets, or people who need to be at the psychiatric hospital. And for that reason, a lot of people do not even want to speak up when they are stressed. People do not understand that stress is even a form of a mental health disorder, or depression is a form of a mental health disorder. And that is the stigma that we talk about. When people have certain misconceptions, certain attitudes when we come to mental health, so much so that it does not allow other people to seek the help that they need to seek.
Secretary, or do I say Mr. Hanu? Yes, what would be your reaction to
so just
her submission?
To add on to what she said.
Yes.
So mental health, simply put, WHO has a whole definition about mental health.
Okay.
WHO says that mental is about a state of well-being in which, one, you're able to know your potential, one. Two, you're able to cope with everyday stresses of life. Three, you're able to work productively. And four, you're able to make a contribution to society.
Okay.
But just like she put it, simply put. So simply put, I also say that it's your ability to adapt and adjust to every situation you find yourself in. So you working here know that these are the culture here, these are the demands. So are you able to adapt or adjust? That's about your mental well-being. You go to school, you leave home where you have house helps at your disposal. Now you move to school where you don't have that. Are you able to adapt and adjust and live? Okay, so simply put, about how we
adapt,
just like we have physical health, we also have mental health.
Okay.
So physical health, talk about malaria, diabetes, hypertension, but we also have mental health with their own conditions.
Okay.
So when you talk about stigma, mental health stigma, it's about the negative attitudes and behavior we have towards people who are living with such conditions. So the negative attitudes will lead to we discriminating against them, having prejudice, because we deny them certain services because they are different from us. So just like you said, so sometimes it even transcends to even we, the health workers who works in the field of mental health. So sometimes they even call us, we are born for doctor, we are born for nurse, or we only say, and I say, but Sammy, we go for now, to that extent. So it is a whole big thing that even affect the service users. When I say service users, people who access the service, like the mentally ill people. Sometimes I can even imagine, even in our cultural settings, how we even describe mental illness. If we have to mention some of them, you'll be amazed. So that alone also connotes certain of it also perpetuates the negative stereotypes and the prejudice and the discrimination that we are talking about. So even in mental health now, we are talking about we should be mindful about the language we even use. So we don't say that, oh, this person is having, in the Ghana, say, oh, abodam. No, I mean, it's amazing when I go out to talk to people and you ask them about the terms we use to describe. I mean, the guys will say, oh, kontebe, shaye bamana, that kind of thing. All kind of things to describe it. And that also perpetuates the stigma. So when you talk about stigma, just like you said, some people, it's not everybody who you see on the street who is well dressed, who is mentally sound. Some people are wearing designer suits, wearing fashionable watches and shoes. When you engage them and they open their mouth, when we say
they say many are clothed, but a few are roaming.
Seriously. That's what I said. So it is close to all of us, and we need to. And I'm happy you are discussing this because it's one of the key factors that prevent people from coming out to seek services, or even coming out to even share their experiences for people to learn from. So I'll be able to know that this, just like it's a physical illness, and just like we have physical illness, we also have mental illness. And some other places, like in the US and other places, a student can say that, say, I have depression. So that by so doing, you receive the support that you need. So that the teacher, the lecturer gives an assignment. Everybody's supposed to submit the assignment today. but because of your condition, the lecturer can say that, okay, because of your condition, I want you to submit it next week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the support you're talking about. But people are not able to open up because, in our cultural centers, that kind of that kind of thing. So it also perpetuates. So everybody gets annoyed or angry, but when they get angry and annoyed, they say, "Oh, no, the area now."
Oh,
You can even go to the extent where even they come to the hospital and they come to the house, they are discharged. Say, oh, now you are here. You don't use all the place that we are all using. Plate in it, cap in it, chains in it. Kind of discriminate. So that's what
like literally cutting them out of society.
Yeah, so it's like we are not treating them as though they are lesser human beings. And that is where, if you are saying that mental illness can affect everybody or anybody, then why should we treat other people as though they are not human beings?
Now, I want to find out, how can we tell that someone is struggling silently? Okay, because like you're mentioning, they are being treated slightly different than, the regular. Why is that? How did we even get to that point of treating them differently? Obviously, they've exhibited certain signs that are not like the usual. So how do we identify persons who are struggling silently?
Yeah, so if I take that, I mean, if you're struggling silently, you may not be able to identify, but the person's work will show. So just like she said, so simply put, mental health is about the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you behave. So the person is thinking some certain way, but will not be able to know. The person is feeling certain way. Sometimes the feeling can make the person to behave in certain ways because it feels that you are against him or her. You will withdraw.
Okay.
So the withdrawal will let you know that there's something wrong, because human beings, God did not create us as solitary beings. We are social beings, and we need to relate with people. So, but if it happens that this person has become, sometimes we call it homebound, or to fear because when it goes out, the fear cannot. So you may not be able to see them, read their mind, but the behavior the person will put up. That will also tell you that the person is struggling, because why should he be annoyed? Are we okay? The person comes to work and the usual lively person has changed. The person who is all over bubbling with life and all that, all of a sudden quiet or sleepy, moody, So these are some of the things that you can see, because sometimes when you are having mental challenges, it affects the way you sleep. So when you're not able to have enough rest, you come to the work and you are like, you're sitting on the edge. The slightest thing, you flare up.
Right.
You're irritated, you're annoyed, you're angered, and even the way sometimes you even speak to people. This person who is very calm, all of a sudden probably has going to start to use some alcohol. So once this person who is usually shy, all of a sudden I started opening up and speaking up, and even speaking to authority, that is like, hey, that's not how
where's this attitude from?
Because he wanted to, and because of something that he's going through, some struggling that is going on. So these are some of the things that can help us from that. The person may be struggling, and we need to get close and see if there's any help we can offer that person.
Right. You want to say something?
And in addition to that, also when it comes to children, because we really do not pay attention to children. But interestingly, most mental health challenges begin from childhood, according to the World Health Organization. And in our setting too, we say that a child is seen and not heard. So one of the things I usually say is that a child will not say, oh, I had a rough day at school or I had a rough day at work, but they would say, Mama, I'm tired, can you play with me? And those are some of the signs. And usually too, you realize that, this child was really good in his academics, was part of the top students, and all of a sudden they are declining. And that should also tell you that something may be going wrong somewhere, especially when it comes to their mental health. They may be very playful, and as he said, all of a sudden they don't even want to play again. They don't have the energy to play with their friends or even with their siblings or their parents at home as well. And their eating habits, you could mean that they are eating more or they are eating less. It could be the extreme, or they are sleeping more, or maybe they are sleeping less. And sometimes it even translates to the adult as well. you realize that you're somebody who really do not sleep a lot. You used to have regular sleep schedule, and all of a sudden it's that you're sleeping very, very less. You're struggling with insomnia, or you're sleeping more as though you've been bitten by a butterfly. So those are some of the things, and you realize also the changes in their behavior. Some of the things that used to interest them. For instance, you love reading, or I love reading, and all of a sudden I could buy the books because the topics were interesting, but then you come and you don't even have the energy. You don't, or somebody who really used to love movies, they used to be the ones who know all the movies that were coming. They used to even be the movie plot, and all of a sudden they could use like 1 month to watch a 2-hour movie. They start watch 2 minutes and they stop. And so those are some of the things you see them in the silence. They usually would not talk, but these are some of the things, as he has mentioned, and some of the things I've mentioned, that will let you know that somebody like this is going through something like this. And usually too, it is not like it is one time and it goes. It has to be consistent for about 2 to 3 weeks or more. Then you know that, then this person is possible to be struggling from a mental health disorder, and we have to check up on this person.
I see. There's a particular situation I want to ask about. If someone struggles to keep their space, like say the way the set is arranged, right? I pick this from here and I'm done and I don't put it back. The next thing I pick, I don't put it back. In no time, the entire space is scattered. And I don't seem to have a problem being in it the way it is. Is that a sign? Does the person need to be worried? Do they need to find help? And you've mentioned different situations out of which a person could show that I'm struggling. How let me put this well. How do we help them out of such situations? Okay, in that because there are ways we can help, I believe, but we are looking for the most effective ways, because you also don't want to push them a little too much beyond what they can take, right? How do we handle these persons?
So on the tidiness of the room, as both of us have rightly said, how you feel, how you act, how you're able to do well in your society and the environment that you find yourself. As a person who is in their right state of mind, nobody likes filth on a normal level. Nobody likes to live in a place full of debt. So if that is happening and you really do not see a problem with this, or you really do not see that, this has been happening for quite a while, or you don't even have the energy to tidy up even when you come to the realization of it, then you know that there's something going on in the person's head. The person might be struggling, whether they don't even have the energy to tidy up, or they are just like really tired of everything, and they don't really care what is around them anymore. They don't care about the environment anymore, and they don't care. It gets to a point where people do not care about even they themselves anymore, when it comes to the extremes, when at a point people even want to take their own lives. So when it gets there that the person doesn't care whether they are eating well, whether they are eating in a dirty place, whether they are staying in a dirty place, because originally when a place is dirty, or when you even go into somebody's place, or when you enter a space, you are even looking around whether there is a dirt somewhere. But if you are not, and you are very comfortable living in debt, then it means that something is wrong somewhere. And then if you are living with a person like this, now it comes to the help. When people are going through something, or when people are struggling, usually they don't want to say it out loud. Okay. And if you come up very strongly, it also feels like you are judging them. So you have to be in the middle, because you don't want to be nonchalant in a way. You don't want to not care about them, because for all you know, the person actually even wants somebody to care. I saw a question on the trivia that Have you ever been in a state where you really wanted somebody to check up, but nobody did. So you felt like you're okay? The person may be in that situation and usually wants somebody to check up on them, or even needs a reminder. Usually the reminders do not come because people think that, oh, as we will say, wait, they need to bind their son. I said, this person, oh, they are not serious. There are times when people actually think they are not serious with your life, or you're a very dirty person. For all you know, the person is not even dirty, but the person is struggling. So what we can do is to find a general ground where we are not too strong, as though we are judging them, that will make them fall out of the relationship that they have with us, and not be too nonchalant that they'll feel that we don't care. So to be something small, usually when you come, you can say, hey, do you need me to help you with something? Or maybe I bought this organizer
for you.
I have one at my place. It was really helpful. Maybe I'm leaving this one here. Anytime you're able to, then the person would now come to it. The next time you come, maybe the person would have put a few things on the organizer. Then you come again. Oh, you've done what? Then these are times too when they do a little, when you realize that somebody is struggling like that and you see a little bit of effort in helping themselves, you need to appreciate them. So that they know that, oh, it's not like they are not, their life is not falling apart, or they are not doing their best at all. Because it can get to a particular level where people think that no matter what they do, their life will never come together, or nobody actually sees the efforts that they put into putting their life together. So when you do that, they now come to understand that, oh, this person sees what I'm doing. And who doesn't like to be appreciated as well? But even with that, there is the caveat that you don't also necessarily do it too much, so they don't feel like, oh, you're making them feel like children. So there are ways, and it also depends on each person and what will work for the person, or each situation and what will work for the person. There are people, depending on their nature and their character or their temperament, if you use certain tactics on them, you may lose them completely. So you know who the person was, what they are doing right now. Usually what they used to love, you may try to reintroduce it to them again from time to time, and then even in your absence, they may try and pick it up again and again. If you see any materials that are helpful, you share them to them, encourage them to also engage, and from time to time you see that, oh, this person will be picking up. Then when the self-help is working out, or when you see that the self-help is working or may not be working at the speed that you want it to help, they introduce them to a professional. Nobody should give medication to people. You're not a doctor. You know how people say, oh, and I'm glad that he's here, because some of the mental health conditions really look similar. You may go and give a medication, you think that, oh, you know the medication, or maybe I was on this medication when I had this condition and yours is looking similar like mine, so let me give you some of my medication. We don't do that. The person needs to see. It is only a mental health professional who can diagnose a person that you have A or B or C, and continue the help from there.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Sir, I want to also understand, she mentioned earlier that there are times when the person could be sleeping or oversleeping. In the issue of insomnia, are we okay to say that that also ticks a box for one of the triggers we should be looking out for?
Oh, yes. So when somebody is not struggling with sleep, sometimes, in fact, there are people who have issues with chronic, like, sleeplessness. They're not sleeping at all. And once that happens, it means there may be something that is bothering the person. Something may be bothering the person. And in fact, it is one of the symptoms. So the person, once that is happening, it means there's something wrong. So we need, just like she said, we need a professional to do an assessment. So the assessment and we have criteria. So we have a number of things that the person has to show before we say that the person is having this condition. Are we okay? It may also be that the person may just be going through stress, because stress is the whole beginning of everything. So stress, when it's not managed properly, will lead to burnout. The burnout, when you are at a state of burnout for a long time, then you also start showing some mental symptoms. Are we okay? So the symptoms suggest to tell that there's something wrong. So we need a professional to come in to be able to do the assessment and give you a diagnosis that this is the challenge you may be having. Sometimes, just like you said, sometimes just counseling, which we call talk therapy. So you have people who are trained who can help you to probably get your life back to on track. Are you okay?
Yeah.
So sometimes people need only people to be there for them, just to share their concerns and their fears, and that is it. Are you okay? Sometimes you may not even need to tell the person anything, just you being there for the person to have a shoulder to cry on is just enough sometimes. Just enough. Because sometimes I'll say that in our bid to help people, the kind of reassurances we give sometimes even goes to worsen the people's situation.
Okay.
So for instance, you may be having I'm using an example. You have 3 kids. I have only 1 kid, and my kid is gone. And you are coming to console me. You say, "Oh, any shame." You have 3 kids. You know, probably look at my age. I'm close to 50, where I cannot
have another one. Yeah.
When you come, just be with me. Just your presence alone is therapy. When it's therapeutic, it's more like medication. Not for a drawer, but the environment is conducive for you to feel safe. And for you to be able to, sometimes the person may be weeping. Then can't say weeping sometimes in therapy is healing. But the weeping looks like something is getting out of the person. Are we okay? So sometimes you just need to give the person tissue for the person to cry. But tell them, Jesus wept.
Yes.
So that Jesus had emotions.
Right.
So when Mema and Swan, let's give them the space to also weep, because they also have emotions.
Right.
So just like you said, we have professionals who are trained and licensed to do proper assessment and to come out with the diagnosis and even have a plan for the person for treatment. Are we okay? So and the help is out there, just like you are saying, because of the stigma, people are not going out, and because of the way we got mental illness in Ghana, so people are even afraid to be seen entering the psychiatric hospital.
Right.
You see where the psychiatric hospital is located? On a major street. So
everybody will see you.
Your friend will say that, Charlie, could you say, oh, hospital, now it's not any guy, come on now. You know that kind of thing, you know.
Right.
But you have to know that it's not everybody. You don't need to hit rock bottom before you come there. As you are struggling, just struggle. Come. When you come, they are professional. Now what we have done is that you don't even need to come to the psychiatric hospital because of the stigma.
Okay.
For all the government hospitals we have in the country, we have mental health units.
Right.
That you can walk in there, and there are mental health professionals who can listen to you, so that you don't need to say that, oh, you can go to Adabaka Hospital or Adabaka Polyclinic. You can go to Kaneshi, Mampobi, and there are mental health units who will listen to your situation and take off you and provide you the need that you care. Because now we're talking about integrating mental health services into the general healthcare system. So just like you can walk to any hospital and say that I'm having malaria, or I feel like I'm having malaria, you can also walk there and say that I feel my brain is not shooting well today, or it's firing below the threshold,
right.
So I need support, and it should be given to you just like it will be given to any other person, or if need be. Can see my
I was going to ask you about it.
Free help line 0800 678 678. You can call, and there are professionals who are there 24/7 to a free helpline that will listen to you, give you psychological first aid, and if there's a need for them to refer you, they can refer you. So these are the support systems we put in place to be able to help people to come out with their problems. And finally, to say that even you see me in purple.
Yes.
So we are the mental health authority. We are commemorating Purple Month.
Yes.
We've designated the month of May to create awareness on mental health. That's why we are talking about this, and I'm here so that to let people know that your mental health is very important. But if your mental health is not sound, you can't come here and dress nicely like that, because you have come here some way. All of us. Our mental health is very important, but we've neglected it rather. But we need to have a balance. Like Abuboya came here to us and said that Abuboya have 3 ties.
Okay.
So our mental health, our physical health, our social health.
Right.
All the 3 are very important. But unfortunately, we have tilted the balance where we are more focused on our physical health, even our mental health. But we need to have a balance for us to be able to function productively and effectively as human beings.
Right. Thank you so much. We'd like to take a quick turn, but before we do that, just a recap of how far our conversations have come. We've identified the triggers. We've defined what mental health and mental health stigma is, and then we've identified how best we can help persons personally, and even directing them to mental health helplines like that of the Ministry of Health, like you just mentioned. And for that, we are grateful. We want to take a quick turn. When we come back, would crescendo and then have a safe landing, right? So we'll take a quick turn.
At Medifend, there is a lot that we do that we make our patients very, very, very comfortable. Right from the entrance, when you enter here, there's not a loan that you need. Even if you have your sickness, everything vanishes. I would like to also introduce that we have antenatal class as part of our nursing education. We do about 4 modules. Inside the 4 modules, we have various topics under them. This class also is done every week. There's a link that is shared where we discuss issues about maternal health. We also talk about neonatal jaundice, pregnancy-induced hypertension. It's a whole that we want everyone to come and experience. So kindly make it a point to come and experience Medifend, and you never forget. Remember that once you are not here, we are also not existing.
Faith-based topics and religious doctrines oftentimes brews confusion, debates, defensive postures, and passionate conversations. As a people, our allegiance to a denominational doctrine and canons must not cloud our judgment to miss the real focus of being Christ and biblical centered. Do our doctrines mold and shaping our identity, or they cloud our judgment and enslave our actions? Welcome to Religious Doctrines on the Hot Seat, exclusively on Adward TV, every Sunday from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. as our host Reginald Percival Robertson and Reverend Father Ebenezer Petrus take you on a captivating journey through religious doctrines. This live show offers compelling analysis, expert insights, and debates on vital faith-based topics. Dive into thought-provoking discussions that challenge your perspectives and deepen your understanding of religious teachings. Religious Doctrines on the Hot Seat, reforming mentalities, challenging dogmas.
Appreciate your time and thank you for sticking with us. This is Open Mic and we are still on the conversation of mental health stigma. We have a few comments we want to read and then we would react to the comments and then we can crescendo on creating safe spaces for people. Yes. So someone asked along the line of the conversation that what are some of these self-helps that we can use to, make our situations better. And then there was another one that says mental health should be discussed continuously, not only when problems become serious. Every day, many people in our society are silently struggling with stress, depression, anxiety, and emotional pain. Some are fighting battles no one can see. And there's a last one that is in my DM that says about being nonchalant, disorganized, or not caring about living in filth. I think the opposite, where a person is so concerned about keeping a tidy surrounding or etc., is also a form of mental health disorder. They say OCD.
Yeah.
Yes. So these are the 3 pointers that we have. Mr. Hanu, please take us through. What would be your reaction to these three issues?
So I agree. I'm talking about the field. So I was saying that sometimes your living situation, when somebody comes and let you know that the person may be having a mental problem, but you need to have a balance because
Okay.
just like the person said, the extreme of it too sometimes connotes mental problems. Are we okay?
Yes.
Because sometimes when for people who are having mental health issues, you see them holding this all kind of worthless things, and for them it is worthwhile. That's how come they are not able to throw them away.
Okay.
So they keep them. Are we okay? So when you, who presumably is, you call yourself normal, but yet you still have that kind of clutter all over, also kind of raises question mark about your behavior. That, hey, are you sure everything is all right? Are you okay? But just like the same thing, sometimes you need to know, if I'm doing assessments, I want to know what is your normal routine looks like. Are you somebody like that who was socialized from beginning to be like that? Where you don't even know how to keep things, or if that's how you are, then I'll not say anything. But if there's a drastic change,
Okay.
you used to be a clean person, all of a sudden you don't have the energy and the thing to, then that will let me know that there's something happening. Are you okay? But on the scale, the extreme of it also should. So we want to talk about what moderation. There are people who, when you get to their room and you get out, they'll take broom and sweep. When you sit on their bed and you get up, they'll straighten it. When you pick a pencil from this particular place and don't put it back, they go to the bathroom and like they take the whole 1 hour bathing.
I know this.
Saturday morning they are washing their things and they'll keep washing. In fact, you see my mom crying and you're there. They'll back again and wash it all again because they're not convinced. Are you okay? So that is too extreme, and sometimes psychologists will tell you that it as a result of the way the person was brought up. We have a period in life and development that we call toilet training.
Okay.
How did their parents toilet train them? So the child eases himself and the parents mercilessly beat the child. So the child grows up and says that, hey, I have to be underneath. So everything is. So they grow up with what we call the OCD.
Okay.
Are we okay? So it's very important that we have a balance. You shouldn't be too rigid. You should be flexible and you should allow things to, but it's very important that we keep our surroundings clean, and keeping the surroundings clean promotes your good mental well-being.
Right.
But the disorganization does not even help your well-being. You come and it's like confusion. You're looking for a pencil, and you're going to like 30 minutes. You're still looking for the pencil. You're looking for a sock in the morning. In 30 minutes, you're
looking for the socks.
You're not order. You are spending so much energy when you can conserve and just move on with your life with other things.
Right. Nanaba, what will be your bite on these three situations that we've mentioned?
There was
the issue of the OCD,
yes,
and then the self-help techniques that we can engage in, and
let me take the self-help because I do that a lot.
Right.
I do the therapy too. I have a therapist, I have a personal therapist, but most of the time, as we said, there are some of the times that there have been times when I think that, what is going on in my therapist's head? Because he sits like in a day, he's listening to like the troubles of so many people. It's not that I really worry for him. That's, oh my God, when you go home, do you do like any
detoxing of everything?
So what I try to also do is to try to help my therapist and helping myself.
Okay.
I look at what I do that helps me. I love nature.
Okay.
So I like to sit at the beach. Unfortunately, right now, our beaches are becoming another thing to deal with because I remember last day I was going through it. And I was like, let me just go and sit at the beach. The wind, the sound of the waves, they just do something to my soul.
Of course.
And I went to the beach. The water was brown, and there were plastic bags, and then I was like, I don't know what that did to me, but. Beyond that, if you have any clear beach, you have to look at what helps. I realized that water really helps when it's raining, the sound of rain, the sound of the waves, and I love music. Music also does something to me.
True.
Anytime I'm down, I have a playlist. I have a playlist for every mood I'm in. So when I'm sad, I have a playlist that uplifts me. When I'm confused, I have a playlist. So you also know what works for you. There's another thing that, like, my friends laugh at me. I use cooking as therapy.
No way.
Let me come and
hard work.
Let me come and live with you so that when you cook, then I'll eat. But the whole point is, you know yourself. You know what you do that puts you in a good mood. So you do that. Positive things.
Right.
Not to say that you are going to take maybe drugs, or you are going to engage in an activity that would usually harm you, or even drink. The things that we think, there other things that we think that we do that help us, they are actually even harming us more than we think. He spoke about how you take alcohol and now it distracts your mood, your relationship with other people. Nobody wants to relate with you anymore. You go to work, you're not able to even work as you are supposed to do. You may even make a mistake, puts your company in jeopardy. So look for the positive things that work for you. Is it music? Is it that one friend that you call always, and you know that when you call that person, even if it's just 1 minute that you talk to the person, you're back to. And the other part is that then avoiding the things that you think. Another part of the self-help is avoiding the things that you think that trigger you. So maybe there's that one relative that anytime that you have an encounter with, they will make sure that you wish that you could throw hands. So those are people that you have to avoid. People that trigger your mood, negative moods, and you have to avoid them. If there are movies that you watch, you are feeling depressed, or you are going through sad moods, and you said that you go and watch a movie that will let you cry and will let you rethink your life. So,
but there are people who actually excites those feelings in them, or like they say, today I want to be in the mood of being sad. Then they start playing. I know someone who would play Billie Eilish for like, if you see their playlist, and by the time she's done, she's crying for no reason. For no reason,
that person.
For real, she should tell you that she's purging. And I'm wondering what you're purging for. Like, why would I want to just sit in a corner and cry, and come out and say, I've purged?
It could also be that, sometimes you really want to cry, but everybody thinks you're very strong, like we said earlier, or that you don't want anybody to see. There have even been times when you've been trained to hold back your tears so much that then it now begins to affect you. He spoke about how when you cry, it's also a form of healing, and some people find it very difficult to cry. Unlike some of us, a small thing we just break down and be crying. Some people find it really, really difficult to cry. So someone like that, maybe there was a time that they started listening to a music and it helped them to release all those held up emotions. So they started to use that as a means of trying to release all that. But if it's not that to them, there may be something that is wrong that we also need to look at. But the whole point is to know yourself. That is why knowing yourself is really important. If you don't take time to know yourself, you would not know the spaces to be in and the spaces to not be in. You will not know the things to be engaging and the things not to be engaging. So you take time and know what triggers me, what excites me, and do according to the things that you come to terms with.
Okay. One last one, and then we can, give our final words. In the situation where a person is adamant, like say you keep helping them, to see that maybe this situation is not too great for them, right? But they come back and they say, I've gone to do this, and it keeps getting worse than what they've done before. So I'm like, can you just stop? Because now you're also dragging me into, and I want to be there for you as a friend. I want to help, but I'm beginning to feel like you're being inconsiderate of how I feel and the things you're saying to me. How do we draw the line in a situation like that? Yes. Because also you want to be sure that you're not being too harsh on them. Yeah. There's some ways.
So help us. You have to know that some people are very manipulative.
Okay.
And they can also emotionally hijack you.
Right.
So sometimes in our bid to help people, they take advantage of our support.
Okay.
So we have something we call enabling. So somebody is using drugs and he's not being responsible and taking care of his children, and probably because he's using drugs, their brother or their parents are paying for the fees.
Okay.
So you are enabling the person's drug. You need to let the person be responsible. So just like the same way about the self-help. So this one, at a point you need to set boundaries or give ultimatum that I can't keep on doing this for you all the time.
Right.
At a certain point I may have to, So when you give them ultimatum, because like they know that you're always there for them, so they're taking advantage of you being there for them all the time.
Right.
So there's a need for us to, and Ghanaians typically, we've not been socialized to say no. So we are not able to set boundaries. So things that we know that this one, you can't. So typically, you are going somewhere, you're asking Ghanaian about direction. They don't know. But they to tell you that I don't know, it's like they feel like it's a sign of weakness. So we need to learn that saying no or I don't know is not a sign of weakness. The same way, also seeking help is also not a sign of weakness.
Okay.
So when you are struggling, with emotional challenges, maturity shows that you rather come out and say that, Charlie, I'm struggling. I need help. And there should be the support systems that will to support people who need a kind of help you're talking about.
Right. Thank you so much. Nanaba, what will your final words be to our viewers? Please, me.
There has been a current surge in suicides, especially among the young people. And I think there's one of the things that we need to look at.
Yeah.
And I would say that there are help systems around. There's so many help systems around, and we would rather help. I tell my friends that I would rather listen to you than come for your funeral.
Right.
I don't want to stand at your body and cry, knowing that if you had come, even if I didn't have the means, I would still be able to speak to you about it. And that is one of the things that I want people to know. We are talking about mental health now because this is the mental health month. But even beyond that, in our workspaces, I always say that employers should understand the kind of workspaces they are creating for their employees. So much that there have been times when people, when it's Monday, people are scared. You know, the whole thing of Monday, oh, I'm going to work, I'm going to this workspace again. That tells the kind of space that we are creating. So let's create that safer space for people to thrive. And if you are going through anything and thinking of taking your own lives, that is not really the solution. There's so many. The helpline has been mentioned. We've talked about the self-help. If you have anybody in your circle that you think that would listen to you and not share your things with other people, you can reach out to that person as well.
Now, quickly tell us about Get Out of Depression Foundation, real briefly.
Great. So we are a mental health focused organization. We do mental health advocacy. We have different projects that tackle different aspects of mental health. So for instance, we have the arts therapy that we do for children, so that children can express themselves through arts. We also have the Serenity and Sustainability project that looks at the merge between climate change and mental health, how climate change affects mental health, how mental health affects climate change. Then we have the Teleking campaign that looks at men's mental health. As we said, that men do not cry, but men also struggle. And then that project looks at creating safe spaces for men to thrive, especially when it comes to matters of their mental health. We have some of these projects. We do end of year activities that we visit, either maybe an orphanage, any social facility, spend the entire day with them. Usually we would have said that we just donate and go, but we also realize that spending the entire day with them, we cook with them, we play with them, we educate them, that has created a certain level of community and family that some of these people in this facility need. So basically, this is what we do. We talk about mental health. We advocate for safe spaces for people to thrive, especially when it comes to their mental health.
Right. Thank you so much, Ava. Mr. Hanu, please, your final words.
Yeah, so my final word is that we are creating the awareness, but I want people to know that it's not only enough to be aware. We want you to take steps to take off your mental well-being. So decide on what you want to do for your mental health this week. I mean, getting enough sleep, getting a screen-free time, 1 hour, these are all healthy tidbits that we can do to be able to help improve our mental well. Calling somebody to check on the person, if you've not seen the person for a long while, take the action. Now we want you to put it into action. We are putting the awareness, but I want you to move beyond just being aware and taking the steps to improve your own mental well-being and creating space for your friends and people around you. Somebody you've not had for a long while, just, hi Charlie, what's up? It's been a while. I'm just checking up on you. It's fresh and nice. So let's do that, because without mental health, there will be no health without mental health. Our mental health is very critical. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hanu. And this is where open mic drops or draws its curtains. We've come to the point of understanding that it's not just enough for us to be aware of mental health, but we need to take the steps towards it. We need to explore self-help options. We need to talk to somebody, and we need to understand that we are not alone in our situations. And so, hey, open up, speak to somebody. Okay, we will see you same time next week. Before we go, we also want to say a very big thank you to our directors, our producers, and our MCR person. Thank you very much for making this production a success. And yes, to you, my in-house guest, thank you so much for making time and sharing your insights on this topic. We know that what you've said is not going to go down the drain, but again, we are going to take steps and actions towards the awareness that is being created in the month of May. Thank you very much for making the time and talking to us. We're grateful. And to you, our lovely viewers, thank you so much for sticking with us. It's been a wonderful 1 hour journey. We'll see you same time next week. I remain Kiki.
Adwa TV, bringing good things to life.